Another one bites the dust.
Boom, boom, boom.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey,
I'm gonna
got
get
you too. Another one bites the dust. Didn't need lyrics for that part.
Not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's Jackie Robinson Day.
It is Jackie Robinson Day, huh?
Yeah.
Badass, dude. Dude, we're coming up on a year.
10
10 days. Whoa. Got a lot of recording. Got a lot of editing ahead of me. Yeah.
Hear the whistling?
Yeah, but that's always... It never shows up when I edit the podcast, which is interesting. It is
Could
weird.
just be
And if
our headphone.
It could be. Yeah, because with the wires and everything. But when it has once or twice shown up in the editing, then I literally just toss the post processor on it, and it's nothing. Nothing. But I'm ready, man.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee and Contemplation. This is episode 42, Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
I am Cameron, and with me, as always, Brent Schaefer.
Yeah. 42, man. We're coming up on a year.
Yes, we are. 10 more episodes till a year. We have taken a few weeks off, so our actual first episode might be even kind of close to when we first posted our first episode.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you. As always. Yeah,
it's been a crazy 42 episodes. We've definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, our format's changed. We've changed our recording equipment. The way we recorded, we just recently added video.
Yep.
It's a lot going on in the Coffee and Contemplation.
Yeah. So we have gone away from sports a little bit in the last few.
We've also gone away from coffee because we used to bring coffees and everything. I haven't had a coffee here in months. What about you?
Not here, but
I
had 2 cups of coffee at home today.
Well, yeah, I had coffee this morning. I have coffee every morning, but for the actual podcast.
Yeah.
That we also used to record earlier than we do now. Now it's more afternoon recording because the lighting's better for us. That's not the reason, but that's okay. Yeah. But yes, we have moved away from sports, but we'll still talk about it.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah, you like my shirt? It's like reverse Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if the video people can see it, but it's Alice in Wonderland, and she's on a lake, but it's mirror, and then the moon is the cat smiling. Yeah. We're all mad here, Cam.
Yep.
Yeah.
But today...
Nuggets.
Yeah, Nuggets.
Joker,
yep.
Those city shirts are so cool.
But to start out today, we are going to do a little sports. I have one question to throw at Brent, because you're a big Dodgers fan.
Big Dodgers fan. I have no idea what's coming, by the way, so I'm not prepared for this moment.
So the Dodgers just recently signed Trevor Bauer.
Right.
Probably one of the most animated pitchers out there.
Okay.
And baseball's been trying to reach the younger generation for many years.
Yeah, their ratings kind of drop year over year a little bit.
So, my question to you is, now that Trevor Bauer is in the same division and on a big market team with Fernando Tatis Jr., who's the face of MLB Show 21.
Yep, the video game.
Do you think that'll help their ratings?
I don't think it hurts their ratings. I think the only thing that might hurt their ratings is the fact that the Dodgers are the World Series defending champions, and now everybody's probably just going to be like, oh, well, now they just got even better. It's like when the Warriors went to the NBA Finals every year, the NBA ratings dropped just a little bit, except for obviously in San Francisco. But I think it just adds, extra drama. I think the ratings will be really high during the playoffs because I think the Dodgers will play the Padres again, like they did last year, and I think that series is going to be even tougher for the Dodgers. So I think in that case it helps.
Yeah. But
then it also just makes the already stacked Dodgers even more stacked.
Yeah, because, like I said, Trevor Bauer is probably one of the most animated pitchers there are. Argues a lot with the players that he's pitching to. Same with Bumgarner.
Yeah, like a mad bum.
But he has a lot of fun too. He's like a funny, kind of intense.
Yeah. Like a Puig almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that helped the Dodgers fan base and even baseball fan base when Puig was on the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, he was fun to watch. The wild horse.
Yeah, because the Dodgers are such a big market, whereas Trevor Bauer hasn't really been on a big market.
Sure. Yeah, he played for the what was he on the Reds before?
He was on the Reds before this year, but he was on the Indians for a while.
Oh yeah, so nothing huge. Yeah, that'll be. I wonder if it'll be more pressure for him coming to a team that's already amazing, but in the market such as LA,
Mm-hmm.
because LA is such a tough market to play in for
And
any sport.
now he'll also be playing against the Padres a lot
Yep.
more than he was when he was on the Reds for a lot of years to come because Tatis just signed a big contract extension with the
Yeah,
Padres. Bauer, I think, signed a 6 or 7 year deal.
I think 6. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
So many years of those two battling. So
Yep. Dodgers. I mean, they've got Mookie for a long time. They've got Cody for a long time. Clayton Kershaw isn't slowing down. Walker Bueller is really coming into his own. Like, it's just a good time to be a Dodgers
yeah.
fan.
Did you see Jock chose 24 as his new number for his
Really?
new team?
No, I didn't see that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he said, "I want to honor Kobe this year
Yeah,
for baseball."
that's
So
awesome.
he
Yeah,
chose 24.
I think he's from Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
even before he played for the
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna play the same song.
This was the original ending to WandaVision.
I'm gonna play the same song I did, the WandaVision thing. But
Okay.
stop it right before Agatha.
Cool. Or we could just do it plugged in too. That way it doesn't.
It just doesn't sound good on the audio.
Oh, okay. Where's the audio?
I just have to find it.
Video people, how are things going for you? Huh? How is your Wednesday afternoon going? I hope it's going well. Hope it's going real well.
Did you watch the All-Star game?
Oh, hell yeah. I watched the All-Star game.
Pretty fun.
Pretty cool. Steph Curry's insane. He won the 3-point contest and then scored like 32 points in the game.
It was cool to see too at like the end of the game when they only needed 3 points to win it.
Yeah.
Steph tried the half court heave and then
Dame nailed it. Yeah. Dame time.
Dame time.
Okay.
She's a magical gal in a small town locale. He's a Bobby who's part of machine. WandaVision, WandaVision, WandaVision. Together, 1+1 is family. WandaVision. Don't try to fight the chaos. Don't question what you've done.
That's still my favorite one. Beautiful.
Well, sadly, WandaVision is over.
It's over. It was one season, like we were kind of guessing the
Yeah.
whole time. All right, Cam, tell me what you thought of WandaVision season finale and then just the show in general.
I don't want to cry on the episode.
Do it.
No.
I'll hold you.
Big spoilers coming.
Thank
for
you for letting
anybody
me be
that
your
has
mom.
not.
Yeah, man. So, what'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I know some people thought it was kind of lackluster. Okay, I know one person that said that.
Who? Brody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's because Brody thinks everything is lackluster.
Unless it's Age of Ultron.
Or Morgan.
Oh, got him. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um,
That was a
but
good
yeah,
one.
yeah,
That
thank
was
you.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was interesting to see more of how like Wanda doesn't understand her powers at all.
Yeah.
Like she knows she has these powers and she's very powerful, but she doesn't know exactly what she is.
Right. And how powerful she can
exactly.
be. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why Agatha was definitely a villain, but also was like kind of good in the sense to like be her teacher because that's who she was in the comics. And then it was really cool when she cast all the runes,
Mm.
and Agatha goes to cast her magic.
Yep.
And then Wanda's like, don't you know you can't cast your own spells, or you can only cast spells if you cast your own runes? Thanks for the lesson. So that was really cool.
That was cool. It was cool too. I knew the whole thing was going to be interesting in the beginning when Wanda attacks her, and she's like, "That's what I was hoping for." And she takes other people's powers. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Agatha. Yeah.
Yes, Agatha.
Yeah.
She's like, that's my specialty.
Mm-hmm.
Also, White Vision.
Crazy.
Where did he go?
Literally, I wrote one note. Well, I wrote two notes for this episode, but that was the first note I wrote. Where is he?
I don't know. I think he's dealing with like his existence because
Aren't we all? Aren't we all though? Yeah.
But Hayward programmed him to kill Wanda
And Vision. Yeah.
And then the Hex version of Vision was like, but you're the actual Vision. I'm just a projection of Wanda's memory.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole episode when they were talking about the thought experiment. I forgot what it was called, but the boat.
The boat one.
They're talking about what's the real boat and what's the fake boat, and then they're like, we're both real and we're both fake. That was such a cool scene.
Yeah, and then he like touches him and like gives him his White Vision's memories back.
Yep.
And he sees Infinity War and Age of Ultron and sees his relationship with Wanda.
Yeah.
And that's when he just flies away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, he's back. Because Ashley was watching it with me. It's like, Vision's back, the real Vision.
That's what I thought too.
And
We don't know. So I was going to ask, do you think, or do you know fan theories? Like, what do you think happened to him? Is he the real Vision now that the actual Vision's gone?
See, the main, I wouldn't say like theory, but the main like summary of everything that people are saying is just like he's dealing with him supposed to kill Wanda and Vision.
Okay.
But also knowing that Vision loves Wanda and like he is Vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just off trying to figure out what to do.
Sure.
And we might see him because he's only been in other movies with the Avengers. Age of Ultron, Civil War, and then Infinity War. He's only been in 3 movies.
Yeah, this was really his first like kind of standalone thing. Yeah.
So we could see him in another Avengers movie, or even in, I doubt, the new Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
But
so I have a question for you. So Wanda's the Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
And her new costume, by the way, her outfit is awesome. I thought Elizabeth Olsen was already my celebrity crush. So much more now. I couldn't believe it got better.
Yeah.
It got so much better. Is she gonna get a movie? A Scarlet Witch movie?
Yeah. No, actually.
No. You
I
don't think
remember
so?
seeing something that said Scarlet Witch coming to Disney Plus in 2023.
So she's getting a show.
No, that was a fan-made thing.
Oh.
To mess with people like everybody messed with everybody.
Got me.
On
Yeah.
this freaking show.
This was fun in a way because it reminded me of, like, obviously we're living in a very divided time where people like have divided focuses in a million different directions. But this reminded me of like watching Lost back in the day when Lost was on, and everybody would. This was like when the internet was really young, but everybody would talk about, oh my God, what's gonna happen next week? The island, like what's going on? Who are the others? All this cool stuff, and that was a big part of it. And I haven't seen that really happen in a show to this level until this show, where every week you could not go on Twitter on Friday until you watched the episode because it's all you would see.
Same with TikTok too.
Okay.
Like, I saw one spoiler. I think it was either episode 3 or episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because I swung that day.
Mm.
And
11 to 8.
11 to 8.
Yep.
Sorry.
The fans don't know, Cam.
But I'm talking about the fans now.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't have time to watch it in the morning. And so I was like, I'll just watch it on my break. Because it was one of the earlier ones. So they're still like
25 minutes, whatever.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I saw a spoiler about Dottie. So it would have been episode.
Dottie is that the mom
3.
from
No.
that 70s show?
No, that was the like pretentious neighborhood mom.
Oh, okay.
That was either episode 2 or That's when Jimmy Woo comes in and says, Wanda, can you read me? Can You Read?
Okay.
That was that episode.
Oh yeah, so that was the second or the third, I think, pretty early on. Yeah.
It would have been the third one because I watched the first and second on launch day.
Sure.
But yeah, so getting back to the people messing with everybody, coming up with all these theories, and none of them really coming true.
Yeah, nothing that I saw on Twitter really came true. There was a couple of like guesses of small stuff, but nothing like big. Like a lot of people were saying Doctor Strange was going to make an appearance. I was hoping he was. I love Doctor Strange. Same thing with like the hour-long episodes. There was just a lot of misinformation that spread super quickly.
I think the biggest one that was true was that Agnes was Agatha.
Sure.
Like,
and that Wanda's the Scarlet Witch. People were saying that pretty early on too.
Yeah.
But that's not really like a huge spoiler.
No.
What's happening?
You're good.
Did I do something? Did I offend you in some way?
No.
Was it something I said?
No.
Was it something I did?
No.
Is
not
it
what
because
you said, it's how you said it.
Is it because I asked you to trim my toenails last week and they still haven't been trimmed yet? Is that why?
Oh my god.
I know. Look at that big toe, dude.
Take off your shoes while we're playing ball and just
Look
slit
at that big
somebody's
toe.
throat.
Dude, do you Dude, do you remember when we hadn't played basketball in months and then we went and played at I think it was at the Greeley one, at the Greeley Rec Center. And then the next day I sent you that picture of that giant blood blister I had. That thing was gnarly. But the last couple times now that we've played, nothing. But anyways.
Another theory that was wrong was Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Being back. Pietro being back.
They also didn't. That was one thing I was upset about. There was a couple, like, I enjoyed the finale. I don't think it was bad or whatever, like Brody said it was, and a couple people have. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 again. But there was a couple things that they just kind of left unresolved. Like, so they talk about Photon's being held captive by Quicksilver.
Yes.
By Pietro. And then you find out he's a random guy,
Ralph
Boner.
Ralph Boner.
Which I got a little chuckle out of me. Even him, haha, Boner.
Yeah.
I was like, God, he got me.
Before he was, before Monica tore off like the necklace that.
Yep. Like possession necklace, I guess.
Yeah. Was using to possess.
So you find out he's just another random member of the town, which is fine. But then you never hear anything about him after that. That's the last time you even see him. So they just didn't really conclude that arc.
So I don't think it was like a slap in the face. I just think it was like a way to get people talking.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Because there's been so many talks about the multiverse opening up and everything. And it would have been a cool way to introduce it with like Agatha taking Pietro from a different universe and coming into the Hex and making him Wanda's Pietro.
I definitely thought too that, and I think a lot of people thought this, but I thought it was going to tie back into the Marvel Universe as far as the movies and everything more than it did. And it did a little bit with Vision 2 and Infinity War and Age of Ultron, but I thought at the end it was going to tie, like, I'm not expecting to see the Avengers or anything, but I thought it was going to tie back into the bigger picture, and it really didn't too much.
Yeah. Did you watch the mid and post-credit
I did,
scenes?
yeah.
So the mid-credit
I want the cabin that she lives in.
Yeah.
That place is awesome.
So the mid-credit scene, it looks like there's going to be a Captain Marvel 2.
Okay.
So you saw how she turned into a Skrull.
Yes.
And she says, my assistant or something like that needs to speak to you.
When she turned into the Skrull, I really thought we were going to see Nick Fury.
Oh, I did too.
I was like, oh, maybe we were right, because we kind of guessed that a little bit, yeah.
And so either it's going to be a Captain Marvel 2 or it's some aspect in another upcoming movie that it's going to be Monica and either like Captain Marvel or Monica and Nick Fury because the Skrull points up to space where we saw in the Far From Home mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
That Nick Fury is actually on like a Skrull base, and the one that has been Nick Fury in Far From Home was a Skrull.
Yeah.
So I think the next movie will either be like that tease like either a Captain Marvel 2 or it's going to be Monica in an upcoming movie with Nick Fury.
Definitely. Yeah. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the end credit scene was the one where you see her. I need a little more explanation on what we saw exactly.
So in Doctor Strange, you know how he like gets stabbed or something like that, and he goes to the hospital and has his girlfriend fix him.
Love that scene. While he's fighting like, what's the name of the thing? The realm that he's in? Whatever they call that realm. He's fighting that thing in the realm. That was a great scene.
Well, it's Dormammu that he fights in the end, but he's fighting that one.
The astral realm.
Yes.
That's what it is. So he's like fighting this guy in the astral realm while she's performing surgery on him in real life. That scene's awesome.
So that's what she's doing. She's astroplaning, I think is what it's called.
That sounds right.
Astrophasing, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, those both sound good.
So it was another way to show that like Wanda's as strong or even stronger than Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange can only do that when he's sleeping.
Okay.
Or meditating.
Yeah.
But Wanda was walking around and making tea while she was doing that.
A lot of people have said that she is the strongest Avenger because she almost kills Thanos in Infinity War. And then he has to literally... Is that Endgame? In Endgame. Oh, that's right, because it's after Vision dies.
Yeah, and it's the previous Thanos from like 2014.
Right, they go back in time.
And Thanos goes, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. She's like, you took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will. Yeah. And then he has the only reason she doesn't kill him is because he literally sacrifices an entire third of his army.
Yeah, because it's either Rainfire, I think it's Rainfire, and he shoots missiles from his ship.
Yep.
And then all his like right hand guy, he's like, what about our troops? He's like, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but she definitely would have probably killed him.
Yeah.
Because
Kevin Feige even said that.
Yeah.
He's like, I put that in there, or not like put it in there to show she was the strongest, but he's like, I needed to show how strong she was because I couldn't really show off her potential in previous movies.
Sure, it definitely shows that if she's not the strongest, she's tied with, like, she's up there with the strongest. Yeah. Probably like her and Thor.
Yeah, so I'd say like probably the top three are like Doctor Strange, Thor, and Wanda.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel too, but we really haven't seen her. But
yeah, I also haven't seen that movie, unfortunately.
She has the power of the blue one, the Space Stone.
Oh, okay.
That's why she like flies and travel realms and stuff.
Yeah. She also she fights Thanos a little bit, but not as effectively as Wanda does.
Yeah.
In Age of Ultron, or no.
She's able to hold his whole fist. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't grab the Power Stone and send her back,
that's true.
She could have also.
That's true. I forgot about Thanos. He grabs the stone. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, dude. What else do you want to talk about in the episode? There's more we can. Let's talk about how it ended.
Yes.
As far as Vision and Wanda saying goodbye and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, before she says goodbye, Agatha takes away the mind control that she has over all the residents in Westview.
Oh, dude! Real quick, that scene was very intense when they're like, "You need to let us go," and she's like, "I can't. Like my family, I can't do it." And they're like, "Well, then just kill us." Yeah. I was like, holy shit, that's intense.
Yeah, because she starts to take away the hex, but then the boys and Vision start to
die,
evaporate like Vision did when he was leaving the hex.
Yeah.
So after she's done fighting Agatha, after she realizes she can't have both, make the residents of Westview happy or have her family, she ultimately decides to I guess wouldn't save, but release the control that she has over these.
Which would be a tough decision.
Yeah, because she thought she was giving them a better life.
That's what she.
But it was called the grief spell.
Yeah.
So she was putting on to them all of her grief, and when they would go to sleep, they'd see her dreams
and her nightmares.
Yeah. So that's ultimately why she decided to give up her family and say goodbye to Vision and the twins.
I think in a way she's like totally in denial too, because when they snap out of it for a second, she even tells them, she's like, "No, I'm protecting you, I'm keeping you safe," and they're like, "That's not what's happening at all. We'd rather be dead than what's happening right now." And I was like, that's dark.
Yeah.
But she made the right decision.
Yeah,
tough decision.
Very tough decision. That's also why people say she might be the villain in the new Doctor Strange movie. But yeah, we'll talk about the ending and then we can talk about the new Doctor.
What was that? The little spring thing, yeah.
Then we can talk about the new Doctor Strange movie.
Okay.
Very emotional ending,
yeah,
for sure.
We found out for real that Vision actually is dead.
Yes.
It's like confirmed for real.
Yep.
Questionable about the new Vision, what that's about, but he dies essentially again at the end of this.
Which was also interesting what he says, too.
Which part?
Because he says, we were able to see each other again when we thought we wouldn't. So we'll see each other. It means to reason we'll see each other again.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But yeah, so that scene when she's saying goodbye to Vision's really emotional. But how she says goodbye to the boys is also really emotional.
Yep.
Because they say goodbye and like good night and everything, and right before they close the door and turn off the lights, Wanda just says, "And boys, thank you for letting me be your mom."
Yeah. Emotional, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad. I didn't know how it was gonna. I mean, no one knew how it was gonna end, but I didn't think. Somewhere in my head, I thought they were gonna find a way to get the people out of the hex spell, let the town go free, but also keep Vision and the boys. But obviously, that just wasn't possible. Very emotional, and I think it was great storytelling that they decided to do that, like gut punch like that. But Wanda did end up making the right decision, even though she lost everything.
Mm-hmm. And because Vision asks like, exactly what am I? And she says he's her hope, her passion. It's like her hope and desire and fear, but mostly my love.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of great lines.
Yeah, and then right when Hex is closing in on them, Vision just says, "So long, darling."
So sad.
That's it.
So do you think Vision's gonna come back in the form of this new Vision now that he has all the memories and feelings of the old Vision?
I think so, but I could also see him still struggling with having to kill.
Do you think we're gonna see him again at all? Do you think they're gonna resolve that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's just a big unanswered question, and that's one of the great things that Marvel does is they do lengthen it. Like it takes forever to answer those questions.
Sure.
But most
But
questions
that's how you keep
become
people
resolved.
intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I liked the episode a lot. It could have been better, but there's a lot of finales that could be better. But I thought it was very good, and I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'd give it to like a very similar to like the last Hobbit movie, where like they did about as good of a job as you could hope them to do, just not. They didn't blow me away with a lot of stuff.
I forgot that Wanda makes Agatha the nosy neighbor.
Yeah,
again.
like the permanent resident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And then she's like, well, okie dokie then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she's like, is it hot in here? Or is it just you?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely her as the Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and you just see more of Agnes again. So.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay. So people are saying Wanda's going to be a villain now. And people are saying that's okay.
I don't think she's going to be a villain.
She's reading the Darkhold.
But my counter argument to that is we just saw her be a villain. Technically, she was a villain by holding an entire town hostage and making everybody suffer for however long they were in there.
She's going to make it worse because...
But if she... Okay, so the reason I don't know if that's the case or not, because she lost Vision and so she was in grief, the grief spell, all this stuff, right? Now she's accepted that she has to lose Vision and her kids, and she seems like she's at peace.
That's why she's reading the Darkhold. She's trying to get her family back. That's why she's reading the Darkhold. Because Agatha says, I have this spell and this book, and if you give me your power, I can bring your family back, or I can have you stay here and also release everybody from your grief spell.
So when you say a lot of people think she's going to be the villain, you're saying in the Doctor Strange movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell me more about the theory then.
So anybody who reads the Darkhold, which is one of the spell books from the Doctor Strange
collection.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the place is called.
I don't remember. Sadly, I haven't seen Doctor Strange in a while. Great movie though. If you're an MCU fan and you haven't seen Doctor Strange, I recommend it. Very entertaining movie. He's basically Tony Stark. Kind of a smartass. Intelligent. Handsome. White. Little dark hair. He's a little bit taller, I think, than Tony Stark is. Instead of having magic robots, he just has magic. He can open portals. Tony Stark can't do that.
Piss me off.
He makes Thor his bitch for like 15 minutes in a row in Thor Ragnarok. Makes Loki his bitch. I don't think Tony Stark ever made gods his bitch before. He's a great surgeon. That's why his name's Doctor.
Sanctum.
The Sanctum. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I was running out of filler. Let's be honest. I ran out of filler a good 45 seconds ago, but that's fine.
But yeah, so it's one of the books from the Sanctum that Agatha stole. And that's what she's studying. And that's why people are saying she's a villain, because everybody that reads that book becomes a villain.
What do you think?
I think she is.
I don't want her to be, though.
I'd be fine with whatever she does. She could kill Spider-Man and be like,
no!
Good job, Scarlet
Stop
Witch.
it! No. I love
Especially if she's wearing that outfit.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of her in that outfit. Whether she's, I mean, maybe hey, she'd be a little bad mommy. Yeah. I mean, I could see that theory. I don't know as much about the MCU as you do, like Marvel and stuff. So I didn't know that about the, what's it called? The Darkhold?
Darkhold, yeah.
Darkhold. So I didn't know that, but I just figured she had learned her lesson after losing her family once already. But maybe not. Maybe she did learn her lesson, and then reading this book, she unlearned the lesson.
Yeah. Well, and also, she didn't know what she was doing was bad. Or, like, she thought, like, what she was doing was unintentional, you know? And she made that family unintentional to begin with and everything. And now that she knows her powers and has the Darkhold, she's going to do whatever it takes to get that family back.
Very true. Yeah, okay. You're okay. You're convincing me more and more the more you talk. When is Doctor Strange 2? Is that next year?
2022.
2022?
So I think Black Widow is the next movie, and then Spider-Man 3 comes out Christmas this year, and then I think it's the multiverse.
Nice. Logan just texted me, by the way, and said that because they're working on the schedule right now for the season, and he said we're trying to make it so that we play you guys twice.
We are going to have to play a team
twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather it be them than the college team.
There might not be a college team, actually.
Let's go, dude. I told, sorry, video people, we're cutting this out of the audio probably for sure, but you just hang in with us for 1 second.
For the video people, we are in a basketball league.
Basketball league at the Windsor Rec Center through the town of Windsor.
We're called the Wannabes. I'm a team manager and team coach, and probably going to also be, what's it called? People that do all the uniforms.
Equipment manager?
Equipment manager.
Yeah. And my buddy Logan's on one of the other teams, and he was just texting me saying he's going to try to get it so that we play them twice, and that'd be awesome.
Because there's 6 total teams in the league, 7 total games.
Gotcha.
So one
game a
five,
week on Wednesday nights? Yeah.
One team 5 times and one team twice.
Nice. I already told Logan, I was like, when we play, I'm guarding you and you're guarding me, like when we play, and he's like, yeah, definitely. I said, cool.
Do you know who's all on his team?
I know 2 of his coworkers, Tiki and Josh.
That's the team Ethan was telling me would probably be our biggest competition if the college team's not in it.
Yeah, apparently Logan said he's like very mediocre, kind of like I am.
Josh is the main like supervisor, I guess, like the league manager.
Yeah, I think so. But he was telling me that I think
that's who I got the email.
It was either Josh or Tiki, but he was telling me that they're very good.
Yeah,
very
Tiki's
talented.
very good.
Yeah, that's who it was. But yeah, I'm excited. That'd be cool. I'm gonna text him back real quick and say, hell yeah, dude. And I'm gonna say, you don't want all this smoke. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's the end of our WandaVision segment for the last 9 weeks. Next week we might talk about the making of WandaVision, and then what we expect from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we'll move on to those weekly episodes.
Yeah, so the week after next week, Falcon Winter Soldier starts.
Yeah, March 19th.
Very nice.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Well, WandaVision was great, and I think it's a good sign of things to come because I didn't know what to expect from the first MCU show.
Yeah. A lot of theories came from it, and not a lot of them were true, but that's why people watch shows like that.
Definitely. Definitely had the fan base stirring. Video people, once again, how you doing? You hanging in there? Are you at work right now? Because if so, focus. On the podcast, baby, not on work. Yeah, you already know what's up.
What if Acorns automatically
What is
invested
Acorns?
every time you bought coffee for a month?
Ashton Kutcher is like a co-founder.
10 years?
We might get copyright strike for this song.
I can trim it. It just doesn't. Copyright strike just doesn't post the episode until I trim that part out.
Gotcha. Okay, so it doesn't take it down once
No.
it's okay. Gotcha. Very cool.
Yep.
And then it's not till like a good 45 seconds in that the words start. So you know, it's like it's a long opening. It's an old song. The old people used to be so much more patient.
I'm 1 minute and 45 seconds in.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been
It's just about to start. You paused it literally 2 seconds too early. A minute 45 is that what you said?
minute 05.
Oh, okay. Still pretty long intro. This song has been in my Spotify top 100 for the last 6 years in a row. Isn't that kind of crazy? Whole life through midnight. So real quick before we start, I just want to say this is kind of like our podcast coming full circle in a way because we're starting an 80s segment really for a while. We have a lot of movies on the list. And we decided to do this one first because it came out in 1980. Mm-hmm. So it's like the kickoff to the decade of movies. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say we've come full circle is because Stranger Things is one of Cam and I's favorite shows. The show is named Coffee and Contemplation off of a line from the first season. And that show is heavily inspired by 80s TV and 80s movies. So in a way, full circle.
And we also started with the song Singing Another One Bites the Dust.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the #1 on the charts in 1980.
Yep, exactly. And we're going to do that for every year. Yep. When we're doing the movie, whatever year that movie came out in, our opening song is going to be the #1 song from that year.
Yep.
And, and I think, honestly, Stranger Things is kind of what really brought our nerd... Like, that's the first show that me and you were really, like, nerding out over in our friendship. Because that was probably 2016 or 2017 that show started. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So, full circle it is. Cameron, you live in Colorado. You have stayed... at the Stanley Hotel.
Nope.
You've never stayed there?
Mm-mm.
I thought you guys have. You've never stayed at the Stanley Hotel. Spooky. So, but you've been to the Stanley Hotel.
Yes.
You've visited
3 times, I believe.
Yeah, you know what it's about. It's up in Estes Park. But you've never seen The Shining.
Not till this morning.
And you've never read the book.
Never.
Okay. Tell me about what you think of the movie, since you've never seen it before. Because it's interesting, because I saw this movie even before I lived in Colorado. I saw it when I was like a little kid. Maybe 9 or 10, too young. But it's interesting. I want to know what it's like coming into it fresh as an adult, having never seen it.
To be honest, I didn't think it was that scary.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be
really,
a lot more scary.
It's more unsettling.
Because I know it's like a horror. It's considered a horror film.
Yeah.
But I never really thought it was too scary. I thought it was more of like a suspense.
Yeah, I'd call it more like horror thriller. It's definitely thrilling. I think also the definition of horror movie in 1980 is different than it is today. So it's not as much gore and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I did enjoy it. Tony scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
When he first showed up, and then you find out more about like who exactly he is, and why Danny, right?
Yep.
Does the finger and like
yeah.
has those weird visions and stuff. So,
which is not part of the book at all. That like the whole Tony thing is completely different in the book.
well, I read, because we'll get into it more.
Yeah.
But Stephen King hates the adaptation
Yep.
of what's the director's name or the producer's
Stanley
name?
Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Cool brick.
Cool brick. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it did say his son was telepathic in the book.
He's technically telepathic in this movie too, but it doesn't explain it like it does in the book.
Yeah.
But that's why Mr. Halloran, no, what's the name of the cook? It's Mr. Halloran. Yeah.
Dick's his first name.
Yes, he sits him. He sits him down and he tells him, he's like, I used to be able to communicate with my grandma, just not even by talking, and that's how Danny reaches out to him to come save them, is by telepathy. But I mean, books are always more detailed, but the books go through like what they're saying in their minds.
I see.
And Tony, the whole finger thing is so that Stanley Kubrick could show Tony as a character. That's not in the book, and in the book, it's just Danny talking to Tony.
I see.
In his head.
I see. Okay.
And Tony's like a fully formed, like you see the nightmares that Danny has and everything.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but so yeah, he's telepathic. That's why it's called The Shining, because that's what that skill is called.
They have the shine.
The shine. Yeah, exactly. They can shine. Yep.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Jack's coming up the stairs.
Yeah. Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah.
Which was actually improvised.
Super cool.
Which I brought that up.
And that's like such an infamous. There's like posters of him sticking his head through and saying that and stuff.
Yeah, it was from the Tonight Show with Johnny something.
Carson, maybe.
Maybe.
I feel like in the '80s that would have been him.
It might have been him. But
yeah.
But yeah, he decided on that line to say, and Stanley Kubrick left it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It was and it's infamous now.
Yes,
Infamous for sure.
But it was pretty slow.
Definitely a slow movie.
Leading up till he has his first drink, I think, is when it really gets going. Even after that, it's still a little slow, but you start to see more, and it gets more suspenseful.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when he's gonna completely lose his mind.
Yeah, you just see him unraveling throughout the movie. Yeah, and shout out to Jack Nicholson. Yeah, because he acts his ass off in this movie. He literally, there's like a whole 20 minutes, like you said, when he has the drink and he's talking to just the bartender and he's by himself. There's like a whole 20 to 30 minutes where it's just him. You don't see Wendy or Danny forever, and he's like just carrying the movie at that point. It's almost a shame that he didn't get nominated for any sort of award for the movie. Not an Oscar, I don't know if the Emmys were, or I guess Emmys are TV, but for any even smaller awards or anything, because I think this is like top class acting from him.
Yeah. I did enjoy his acting a lot. Whoever plays Wendy did an amazing job also.
Yeah, she totally... So that's another reason Stephen King claims not to like the book, or not to like the movie.
I did read something.
Because in the book, she's like a very strong-willed, powerful female character. In the movie, she's just like shrill. But I think it makes it more scary.
Yeah. In an interview, Stephen King said she's one of the most misogynistic female leads that he's ever seen put on TV.
Sure.
And it's because she just screams and is reactionary to Jack the whole time.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a cool scene when he's talking to the
caretaker.
The caretaker,
the guy in the bathroom.
Like the 70s.
Yeah.
But after he gets locked in the dry goods.
Oh yeah.
Storage.
Yep.
He's like, maybe we underestimated her a little too much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so in the book, she's like a badass. Like, she's so subservient to him in this movie, and I think they do that to make him seem more powerful when he does finally lose it. But in the book, she's like totally the opposite. And that's one reason Stephen King is like, I don't like the adaptation.
Yeah. I know a lot of people didn't like how he died. Jack's character died.
Yeah. So in the movie, he gets frozen. He just freezes to death. In the book,
I've never read it, but I read that thing why he doesn't like it. And doesn't he like tell Wendy and Danny to run?
Yeah, so in the book, he like comes back to, spoilers, if you haven't read the book, but you like the movie, the book is one of my favorite books of all time. So definitely check the book out. It's a lot different than the movie, so you'll get a lot of new stuff out of it. But so in the book, throughout, there's a lot more detail because it's a book, but it shows that there's a boiler, and the main reason that they're there take over the hotel is to make sure the boiler doesn't overheat, to keep it running because it's too expensive to shut down. The hotel will freeze. That's why they need a caretaker. And then so in the book, he loses his mind just like he does in the movie. But at the end of the book, he like kind of comes out of it, tells them to run, and then fights off the hotel from like possessing him basically, and lets the boiler overheat and blows the hotel up. And that's why in Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel, the hotel is like half destroyed because they go back to the hotel for different reasons. But in the movie, obviously, the hotel doesn't get hurt at all. So basically, it's much more heroic in the book because Jack destroys the hotel.
More of a redemption.
You see more of a redemption, and he destroys the hotel so that it can't hurt anybody anymore. Like it's been hurting people since the 1800s or whenever it opened. Okay. Yeah. So yet another reason why Stephen King is not a big fan. But let me throw this to you, Cam.
Okay.
There's a lot of legitimate reasons that I could see why Stephen King doesn't like this movie. But I have an interesting theory that I want to know what you think of.
Okay.
So a lot of people consider The Shining to be one of Stephen King's best books. I completely agree. It's like that and Salem's Lot and books like that, right? And then a lot of people consider it to be Stanley Kubrick's best movie. And it's like this super it's so famous. It's such a famous movie. Do you think part of Stephen King is upset that he changed so much of the story and people still loved it anyways? Do you think Stephen King just a little bit's like a little salty, so he found all these things, all these reasons not to like it?
I could see that, but I could also see him just being. I think he still likes it in a sense, but he doesn't like how it doesn't accomplish what he wanted to accomplish in the book. You know?
And I could see why like pouring your heart out and soul into making a book and then someone changes it a bunch you'd be like, okay, you ruined this part of it and you ruined this part of it. And that's why it would always be weird to sell your rights to a movie. Although I don't blame him, I would totally do the same thing. But there's other movies that he really likes. Like he really liked the original Pet Sematary movie. I do too. That movie's horrifying. He liked the new It movies. I'm talking about Stephen King. Loved those movies. But just The Shining, for some reason, he did not agree with at all.
Doctor Sleep did a live action movie.
Yeah,
right?
Stephen King said he loved it.
Did he like it?
Yeah, okay. It's Ewan McGregor.
That's right.
Plays because it's Danny when he's an adult.
Yeah,
is what Doctor Sleep is. Yeah. Doctor Strange is really good. If you want to watch that, the movie. Did I say Doctor Strange? So WandaVision. Doctor Sleep's really good, and the movie is awesome, and you would totally understand it after watching The Shining. I recommend it. But yeah, so I love the movie and I love the book, and I think it's possible to love both. But I see why Stephen King would be not so happy with the movie. And I don't necessarily agree with the theory that I just gave you, but I've thought about it sometimes, and I'm like, I would be kind of upset if my best work got changed. It was considered someone else's best work at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Let me pull up that article that I was reading.
Okay.
And I'll read off to you some of the reasons why, and you can agree or disagree.
Sure. While you're looking that up, let me ask you, Cam. So you said like the movie's obviously not that scary, and you watch it during the daytime, so it takes a little bit of the edge off a little bit. But was there a scariest part to you?
Whenever Danny, I guess also Tony, was doing the red rum stuff.
Oh yeah.
How he says that was really scary.
Did you like how it was red rum, and then when the mom wakes up, it says murder?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I knew that from.
Oh, you knew that already?
I didn't know.
That blew my mind when I was a kid.
I didn't know that aspect from the movie, because I've never seen it. But
right.
I saw not murder. He kept saying red rum, then he wrote it, and then I was like, why red rum? Like, is that Jack's like drink of choice? And then I saw how it was written, like the R and the D backwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, so the word must be backwards. And then I did it. I was like, oh, it's murder.
Yeah, and when you see it, the MUR is straight, and then the DER is backwards, so it does read as murder.
Yeah.
But when I was like a little kid, I was like, let's say I was 9 or 10 when I saw the movie for the first time. I was like, oh, it says murder! Blew my mind out of my freaking skull, dude. And it's really cool too. So the movie.
Twins are creepy.
The twins are so creepy.
Which is also weird because when Jack's boss is talking to him about the story, he says he came with an 8 and 10-year-old. So they're not twins.
No, but they I guess they just look similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just know because I know a lot about this movie. I've just never seen it. People call them the twins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think and then when you look at them, they don't look exactly the same. They just look like really close sisters. But that's a good detail. I'm glad I didn't even notice that until you just said that. So that's pretty cool. In the book, it's so there's more apparitions, like hotel guests that haunt them throughout the book, just because the book's longer. But the twins are in the book as well and are very creepy in the book. And that part scared me when I was a little kid, when he's riding the tricycle around and he goes around the corner and you see the two twins. And they're like, you should stay with us forever and ever. And then it shows their dead bodies. That scared me senseless as a kid. I couldn't even believe. But so Stephen King stayed at the Stanley Hotel. And that's why the movie is based on the book. The book is based on the hotel. And although the movie was not filmed at the hotel, but it's very... No, it's filmed in like England.
Well, the hotel, but scenes were filmed at the Stanley.
I don't think so. Sadly, because we went on a tour one time, and I was thinking about it. Because when we went to go visit the Stanley for the first time, I was like, I've seen The Shining a couple times at this point, and none of this really looks familiar. And the tour guide was like, yeah, the book was written here. Stephen King wrote the book inspired by staying at the hotel and having some creepy experiences. But the movie was filmed in England, and that's why there's like the whole maze.
It was a filming location for the 1997 TV miniseries.
Oh, which, by the way, Stephen King wrote that miniseries. So I haven't seen it, but I've heard that more closely follows the book. Although apparently it didn't get very good ratings. So I think movies are different than books. I think Stephen King has to kind of disconnect that in his mind a little bit. Not to talk shit. I love Stephen King. He's my favorite author. But sadly, none of the movie itself is filmed at the hotel. It's filmed on studio lots and in various locations, and that's why I was a little disappointed, because the maze is awesome. The maze is so cool. So when we went to go visit the Stanley for the first time, I was like, I want to go check out the maze. There's no maze at the Stanley. But the cool thing about the Stanley is one of the channels in every room has The Shining on repeat with no commercials. So when we stayed there one night, I just kind of had it on in the background. That's pretty cool, because it makes staying at the hotel even creepier.
Yeah. Okay. So one of his first complaints about the movie.
Okay, so this is why Stephen King is not a fan of the movie. Okay.
He doesn't care for the film's version of the characters.
Yeah, and I could see that, because Tony is not fleshed out at all in the movie. He's he's his whole own character in the book. Same with Wendy, has a whole character arc that's not here at all. And then in the book, it goes... it's a book, so it's just easier to go into detail about characters as opposed to a 2-hour movie. But there's a whole backstory about how bad Jack's alcoholism gets before he becomes sober in the movie, or in the storyline, I guess. And I feel like that adds even more tension to the story, because he got on like a hit and run and might have killed a kid. Like, there's all this stuff that happens.
But yeah, so this is what Will Ashton wrote on cinemablend.com.
Okay. Shout out Will Ashton.
So the reason why Stephen King didn't like the characters was it directly violates the core foundation of Jack Torrance's novel version. In the book, Jack is a decent man caught in a bind with his vices and terrors that unleash in the hotel.
Yep, that's what I said. Like, there's a whole like section of his story missing in the movie, but it's hard. To put it in a movie.
Yeah, but in the movie, we never doubt for a moment that Jack is a madman.
Yeah, so, even in the beginning of the movie when he's interviewing for the job, Jack,
his eyebrows.
He just looks creepy, dude.
But I think that's just how Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
I said the golfer at first.
We switched, because I said it actually right today.
Yep.
For the first time, maybe ever. Yeah. Because I always get them mixed up.
But he just has those crazy eyebrows. So.
And even when they're driving up to the hotel in the car.
When he's talking about that.
The Donner Party.
The Donner Party.
Yeah, talking about cannibals and stuff. Yeah, he just seems creepy right away. But yeah, in the book, like I said, it goes through his whole life story, just like books love to do with characters, and it just talks about how he is a good guy, but the alcoholism like really messed him up. And the movie, when you see him in the movie, it just talks about how he's already sober. So you don't see the whole battle with addiction and all that.
Yeah, it says we don't see the rise of a stable man turned destructive by his newfound surroundings.
Yeah, absolutely. And the book also talks about, it puts you in the mind of the character, so it tells you how Jack starts getting possessed, is probably the best word, by the hotel. And the movie can't really show that.
Yeah. Okay. The next one he says, why Stephen King doesn't like the movie, is that it detached humanity in the movie, even though it's one of the movie's most praised aspects.
Detached humanity. I wonder what he means by that.
The movie lacks the warmth and humanity that he brought to his book. The movie version was, by comparison, more cynical and bleak, which rubbed Stephen King the wrong way. It didn't have the compassion he wanted for the characters, practically, and how personal it was, and even though it was definitely evident by the end.
I mean, it is a pretty bleak movie. I think a big difference with the characters is that Wendy and Jack's relationship, they're so loving in the book. And it talks about, there's a whole section of the book again about how they met each other, how they fell in love. In the movie, he's just a dick to her the whole time, from minute one. So maybe that's what he's talking about. But once again, like, it's hard to have a 500-page book as opposed to a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's either one or two more
Okay.
on here.
But yeah, in the book, it talks about how they met in college and fell in love, and she supported him even when he had no career as a writer. And that's why he decided to become a teacher, because he needed to make ends meet while he was trying to write a book. He's at the hotel for the same reason in the book. He wants to get the isolation to finish, like, write a book, basically.
Okay. We already kind of went over this,
Sure.
but The Shining goes against what Stephen King tried to accomplish with the book.
Sure, yeah. Which basically is 1 and 2, again, with the characters and the warmth and all that.
Yeah. The main reason why Stephen King doesn't like Kubrick's adaptation of his third novel is because King believes it goes against what he set out to do with his book.
It's crazy to think that that's only the 3rd book he ever wrote,
Yeah.
because that book is so good. It seems like it's like a lifetime full of work. It's just so well written.
The novel explores the struggling writer, ex-teacher. He has a fractured relationship with his only son.
The reason he's an ex-teacher too is he literally almost beats a kid to death on the playground during like recess watch.
Oh.
It's intense. There's all these details. Like I said, the book is amazingly good.
Yeah. And yeah, you don't really see a lot of that. Or his ex-teacher whose history of alcoholism has resulted in him being jobless and on the verge of divorce with his long-suffering wife.
Yeah, and in the book too. So we were talking about it earlier, but how Wendy's character is much stronger in the book. Before they go to the hotel, Wendy tells him over and over and over again that she's going to divorce him. In this movie, she's like so clingy and seems like afraid that he's going to leave, even though he totally treats her like shit in this movie. And in the book, it's not like that at all. She's like, you need to get your shit together, or like me and Danny are gone.
Yeah.
So it's just a different aspect in that way too.
You kind of see that a little bit in the beginning when they're talking to like Danny's physician.
Yeah, when she comes to visit.
Pediatrician.
Yeah. And they live in Boulder.
Yeah. Bunch of dirty hippies. But yeah, she's like, yeah, he did this to Danny, and I told him. No, she doesn't. I thought she told him that if he takes another drink of alcohol, she's leaving him.
Isn't that what she says?
No, she says he asked me to leave anytime I see him with another drop.
Oh, that's right. He said I could. He said I could leave him. That's right.
Yeah.
So there you go. Then again, she's becoming more passive than aggressive, because she's saying he said I could leave him instead of her saying no, I was going to leave him. Which that's how her character is in the book, much stronger.
Yeah. So.
But like I said, I think in the movie,
tried to stick up for the movie version of Wendy, and
it fell through.
So, yeah.
But I think, like I said, I think the reason she's so weak, quote unquote, in the movie is because it makes it more terrifying when he finally does try to kill them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt you, Wendy. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to bash your brains in. Oh, he's such a good actor, dude. It's so creepy. Yeah, like you said it well. The movie's not exactly scary. It's just very creepy and very unsettling. Although when I was a little kid, the scene with the 2 dead girls in the hallway with their dead bodies creeped me out, and then the girl in the bathtub freaked me out, dude. Literally, like, oh man, so terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing.
Sure.
So when Wendy's looking for Danny,
running
around the hotel,
I figured we were going to talk about this because we also have to talk about what happens with Dick Halloran as well.
She's running up the stairs, and she looks into the room that has the door open, and there's something going on.
There's something going on, all right. Yeah.
And then it's just a person in a bear costume.
Yep. Going down on a guy.
What is that about?
That's
is that
not
in the book?
I don't think that exactly is in the book, but the book, like I said, has so much more detail, and there's so many more apparitions and spirits that haunt them throughout the book. So I think that's just trying to show, and she's also running and she sees the one guy and he's dead. He has like an axe cut in his head and he says, "Nice party, isn't it?" So I think she's just seeing all the apparitions coming out at once, but I don't remember that exactly being in the book. So I don't know exactly what that's about, but it's some weird freaky sex shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Also, you told me to wait for it with Dick
Right.
Halloran. He
Holler-
doesn't
yeah.
come back.
So he comes back to help him at the hotel, right? He
Yeah.
flies in from Miami, right? But he does end up helping them because he brings in the snowcat and gives them the reason to
Yeah.
leave. So that's what I meant by wait for it. You thought he was gonna come back to
He was
life.
gonna come back to life.
You said
I was like,
but he took an axe to the chest, and I was like, oh, Cam thinks he's coming back to life.
Yeah.
No, I just like I said in the book, it's the same way kind of. They take that snowcat to leave. I forgot. I think Dick dies the same way in the book. I think he takes an axe to the chest, or he might blow up at the hotel. I don't, but he does die. But the same way. So if he had never come to save them, then they would have been stuck there. They would have had no way to leave because in the book too, he disables the radio. Jack disables the radio and the snowcat as well.
Yeah.
That's why when she's like, "We're gonna take the snowcat and leave," and he's like, "You're in it for a big surprise." Yeah. So he does save them in a way, but I felt so sad because he's such a good character. He's so nice, such a nice guy, dude, and he just does not get what he deserves.
Yeah. I kind of chuckled a little bit because he just said the same thing like 10 times.
Which-
Hello?
Oh yeah.
Anybody here?
Anybody here? Yeah.
Hello? And he didn't have a different way of asking it.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, that part scared me too because he's walking through the hotel and all the lights are off except for the one in the middle, so the lighting's already so creepy. But then Jack jumps out of nowhere and hits him with the axe.
That definitely was a
little jump scare for sure. That scared the crap out of me. Because when I saw the movie, I hadn't read the book yet, so I didn't know what was going to happen to all the characters and everything. But yeah, so Dick does kind of save the day.
I guess so.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Just not physically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. What else do you want to talk about, Cam? I didn't write down a lot of notes because I've just seen the movie so many times. I just wanted to see
I'll probably
what
watch
you thought
it
about
again.
it. I'd wait a couple weeks and then watch it again because I think once you've seen it, you discover more and more every time. Oh, we can talk about it at the end. So you were a little confused about the picture.
Yeah.
So the movie ends after Jack dies and they get away safely. The movie ends with there's like a slow pan in on the picture of the ball from the 1920s, and it's the song that we played as the intro to this segment, and you see Jack in the picture. And basically, the book explains it better, of course, but it's just showing that he's a part of he's a permanent guest of the Outlook, is what they say in the book. So he just haunts. He's one of those apparitions now that people will see when they're around there. So I think a lot of those people in that picture ended up dying at the hotel.
I see.
Yeah, and I love the way they say it in the book. They call him a permanent resident, and I'm like, oh, that's creepy. Cool. That's cool. Yeah. So that's what the ending of the movie is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, video people, this is where we must leave you.
This is where we leave
you. If
you
you enjoyed this episode, and if you aren't already subscribed, you can subscribe here. And if you want to watch our most recent episode, it's right here. See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.